Welcome to Mind Yourself, a podcast sharing real life stories from real people, alongside conversations about mental health and emotional well-being. Listener discretion is advised, as this episode may include themes some listeners may find distressing. Wherever you're joining us from, whether you're walking, driving, or taking a quiet moment for yourself, you're very welcome here. Let's get started. And today we welcome Enda Greene to the podcast. Welcome, Enda. Enda is a Kundalini yoga teacher and an energy healer. Can you please tell us, Enda, a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Hi, Helen. Hi, Antonia. Thank you so much for inviting me on your podcast. And I feel very honoured to be asked, actually. I am a Kundalini yoga teacher and an energy healer, but just only the last, I'm nearly 52, so I'm in this line of work the last 6 years. And before that, I was a librarian, and first of all, I'm a mother of 3, and I live in Portmarnock, and my kids are all grown up now, thank goodness. But I suppose I'm here on the podcast because I teach the Kundalini yoga, and I've added sound healing to that. And since from Kundalini yoga, I moved to sound healing. Well, I added sound healing to that. And then through Kundalini yoga, I started feeling my energy. So then I went and trained as a Reiki energy healer, which is someone who channels their energy to try and balance other people's energies. It's a really gentle relaxation technique, but I won't go into that for the moment. I'll just tell you, I suppose, my little bit about what I really do is I'm trying to, after finding myself and finding my own heart and my own essence in my mid-40s through Kundalini yoga, what I do now is a practice to bring all of the practices that I do are to bring people down out of the mind and into the heart. And I explain on a scientific level to people that we're all made of energy flowing. We're all different vibrations of energy. Everything is energy flowing. And through the practices of Kundalini yoga, you start to feel that you're made of energy. And it's not just energy. There's a lot of talk about energy, but it's loving energy that we're made of. It's unconditional love, really. And so through the practices of Kundalini yoga, sound healing, gratitude, all these extra practices I've picked up. But my original start was through teaching Kundalini yoga. So I suppose what I do is trying to get people to reconnect with their souls or their center or their heart or their higher self, that part of us that sometimes we lose in the mayhem of life. So I found when I found my own heart that I lost that mad anxiety, that crazy way of living, just running around, not knowing really where I was going, just following probably other people's directions, not my own direction. So through the practice that I do, I'm trying to find people, or trying to help people to come connect with their own energy, their own knowing, their own intuition, their own heart, so they have their own power. They don't have to look outside them for guidance. So that's kind of what I do.
And can I just ask, what were your own personal experiences that sort of shaped the path that you took to spirituality and healing?
How did I get here?
Yeah.
You mentioned that when you were in your 40s, you felt that there was more to life than meets the eye.
Yeah.
So what was happening then?
Yeah, I suppose, like I've heard a lot of people talking about kind of finding their spirituality or their energy, their power. And a lot of people say it's a crisis that brings you there. And I don't know that I had one big crisis. Well, for me, it was just, I suppose, like my life was a bit of a crisis all the way up till I found this way of living in the present as best I can, you know. So I suppose starting off when I was in school, I didn't have, I never kind of felt like I fitted in. I felt I wasn't good enough. I was from a family of 5, great family, but I just didn't feel like, looking back, I think I was dyslexic, but you know, and I had a very tough father who I love. He's a great man, great heart, but he was tough. And so then as soon as I left school, I tried to kind of get out of home, which I did, you know, and I went up to college in Dundalk, lived in Dundalk, then I lived in Letterkenny in college, and I managed to get pregnant in Letterkenny. And then I had my most beautiful son, Sean, my oldest guy, is 31 now. But straight after that, he was 1.5, and so it was a bit of a trauma having a baby in Donegal. Being pregnant at 20 in Donegal, walking around was pretty traumatic because I looked about 16, I was 20, but even walking around the shops in the 90s, it was 94, like the Magnus laundry's still open now. I'm not saying I had anything, I wasn't there or anything, but the attitude in Ireland was still pretty bad. So it didn't, it didn't invoke a great sense of pride in yourself. You know what I mean? You're walking around feeling shameful. And then I was lucky enough to have support from my boyfriend and my family, but then poor Sean got cancer when he was 1.5. So at that stage I had managed to go to college in Letterkenny, put him in a creche behind the college, and continue college. And I did that for a year. But then in the summer after college, he got diagnosed with cancer. So I really never got a chance. I got a diploma in food science, so I never got a chance to work at the food science. And so I ended up in hospital with Sean for a year, and thank God he's still with us. He's amazing. Like, he had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is a weird one. It's a kind of a disease for older people, and it's not usually young people get it. But anyway.
And you were 21.
Yeah. And so but to be honest, the day Sean was born was the best day of my life. Like, and looking back when we were talking about Kundalini yoga, I didn't know what Kundalini was, and I may as well tell you now, like, that moment of joy when I birthed my first son, like, that was the first time I ever felt Kundalini. And Kundalini to me is soul, it's essence, it's love. It's unconditional love, that feeling that just pours through you. And I had never felt that until I held him in my arms, you know what I mean? And so it was just through practicing Kundalini when I was older that I realized that was Kundalini, because I remember after he was born, I remember going, why am I so naturally high? Like, what is going on here? Because obviously as a student, I drank, I smoked, I did everything. But this was better than anything that I'd ever, tried to fake a happiness with. And so I didn't know that was to me. So Kundalini, I suppose, when people talk about Kundalini, they say, what's that about? It's a yoga that brings you to a place of feeling unconditional love inside yourself. Like, that's what it is. And there's a lot of fear around the word Kundalini yoga. Kundalini in itself, to me, it's soul essence, it's soul energy, it's love. And through the practices that I do, it's a general, or sorry, I wouldn't say general, I'm trying to say it's a gentle awakening of this spiritual energy. And spirit, I mean the essence of everything, and it's connecting with the essence of everything, and it's moving it up through your system in a very gentle way, so that it doesn't overwhelm. I've seen things online about this Kundalini awakening. For me, that's not what I'm doing. What I'm doing is a very gentle way of bringing you down into the heart. And when you connect with your heart, you'll feel that unconditional love, and then that's where the spirit is. You know what I mean?
And what are some of the benefits that people might experience from doing Kundalini yoga? So,
I suppose it really is an experience. The class itself is like a moving meditation, and it's really connected to the breath. So all of this to me is connected to the breath, and that brings you to mindfulness. So it's known as the yoga of awareness. So it's like a mindful yoga. So again, we know a lot of people know what mindfulness is. And mindfulness is, for me, it's coming to the present moment without judgment, and you're trying to quiet the mind down. So during the practice of Kundalini yoga, you're coming to the present moment, and when you come to the present moment, you quiet the mind down and drop into the heart. This is the place of peace, and we can be guided, you can be guided to come down into the present moment, So I think I've told you before, I went to Plum Village. Thich Nhat Hanh is a great mindfulness master, and there's a retreat center in France, and it's called Plum Village, and that's mindfulness based, So it's the same sort of thing as Kundalini yoga, in the fact that you're coming to the present moment and you're following your breath. And then when you're there, you're guided through walking meditation. So I suppose through Kundalini yoga, I found the present moment, and I found a way to connect with the present moment. It's the yoga of awareness, it's mindfulness. And you don't have to think about, Kundalini, what's that mean? That's all thoughts. Let that go. The fear of words, you know what I mean? It's not it's not about that. It's about coming down at the heart. It's not words. It's an experience, but it's experience of being present. And for me, I found it through the practice of Kundalini yoga. And then from going to Plum Village, I realized that in Buddhism, they're trying to do the same thing. In most actual spiritual traditions, what they're trying to do is come to the present moment, quiet the mind down, and realize that our consciousness or our soul is kind of the making of the body and the mind. It's not the opposite way around. And then go back to the base. So I suppose in a class, I explain to people, you're made of energy, and this energy makes up the body and the mind. But there's so much more to you than that, just because we can't see it. Like your energy, they know with quantum physics now, they can see the energy around your body. So it's not just, so this gives you an understanding of connection then. So there's no separation. So that's the other thing about doing Kundalini yoga, drop into your heart. And with that love, you feel connected. Because you don't feel separate anymore, because when you've kind of expanded out your consciousness, you realize, oh, there's life in everything, even in this mic. Oh, there's consciousness even in this chair. It's just a lower consciousness. And it doesn't need to have mind to think, but everything is vibrating energy and everything is connected. And that's what you feel when you get to that place of peace. And it's always there. It's just we rush off and we have to do things. And when we're doing things, we lose the peace because the mind has to. And the mind is very useful because we can't get nothing done. I mean, obviously, you're connect. The other thing is, like, we're creative beings. You know what I mean? So, but it's good to quiet everything down and then connect with that divine, that intuition, not the learnt beliefs and habits and conditions from the mind. So when you quiet the mind down, you can kind of your consciousness expands out past the body and connects or tunes in to the greater consciousness, and then you get the good ideas, and then you can feel them, and they don't have to be, the way most good ideas aren't really from the mind. They float up from the heart, and it kind of eventually gets to the mind. I'm actually getting shivers as I say that, because I think a lot of the time, because you're trying to think yourself out of a situation, and if you just stop, just follow your breath, follow your breath.
It's something that you're so passionate about.
Yeah.
And I've actually attended your classes myself here at Four Swans, and they are incredible. Is it something that anybody can do, that anybody can integrate into their day to day?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the little practices that I've started to teach, because I've kind of I just follow, since I've started doing Kundalini yoga and all these practices to try and give us some peace, some connection within, I've ended up doing a lot of chair yoga, so I'm calling it mindful chair yoga and as soon as the participants come in, I say, this is not an exercise class. This is mind, body, soul. So like if you're looking for an exercise class, you're in the wrong place. I haven't actually said it as like that because I want them to come. So, but I feel like exercise is just one part of yoga, and it's like it's being in the West, it's just turned into exercise, and exercise is brilliant. And I suppose you want to be present in that exercise, you know what I mean? And the breath is what keeps you present. So sorry, what I teach the older people in the chair, that like anyone can do this. All you have to do is follow your breath. Like literally, I love the one, like there's loads of different techniques in Kundalini yoga, but one of them for me is just as you inhale, bring the breath down to the base of the spine, and then as you inhale, you're bringing the breath in, but you're bringing the light up to the tip of the nose. So inhale, bring the light up to the tip of the nose. Exhale, bring it back down again. Inhale, bring the light up, and then exhale, bring it down again. So it's kind of tricking your mind because you have to think about what you're doing. So inhale, bring the light up. So you can imagine that your spine is like on an X-ray, and just imagine as you inhale, the light is going up the spine to the tip of the nose and then right back down again. Do you know what I mean? So, but if you stay with that, you'll find that just by doing that will increase your mood. It'll make you happier. It'll give you more energy, because you're inviting the life force up the spine and you're inviting it back down again. And then as you continue to do that, you can imagine that the life force is spreading out from the spine, because the spine is the center of the whole being. So you don't have to do any exercises to actually get a bit of energy into you. You know what I mean? As you sit anywhere on your own, just imagine, inhale, the light comes up to the tip of the nose, exhale, goes down, up, down. And like they say on that Kriya, they say the yogi that did this lived in bliss, because he sat doing this part of his day and then he was in bliss the rest of the day. because I suppose on the scientific level, you're also stimulating your pineal and your pituitary gland by bringing the energy up and down, you know. But you don't even have to think about that. Just think about the light coming up and down, up and down. 5 minutes and you'll feel great. And yeah, so that's
So this had such an impact on you that you actually give up your role as a librarian to spread Kundalini and help other people.
Yeah.
You also trained Enda in Reiki and Rahani, energy healing. What sort of an impact has that had on your life?
Yeah, so for me, it's just, that's just expanded my consciousness even more. Like, I have, like, I suppose when I started all this, I was like more fearful of vocalizing how I felt, you know, like vocalizing that, you know, really we are spirits and we you know, we need to know that we have a core of love and we have a heart in there. And when I was doing the Kundalini yoga, I can feel my energy now flowing up and down, you know, and I can feel the joy coming up and I can feel that. And I was like, I actually like, I remember being out on a night and this before I trained in Reiki or Rahani, I remember I touching some friend or something and I thought, oh my God, like I could feel like that I was sending, you know, my good wishes through my hand as such, you know, like, and I was like, what's this, you know, and then I found this lady online actually who was talking about mediumship and trance healing, and I ended up going up and down. Mel Murphy is her name. She's amazing, Holly Cottage, but she's a shamanic healer. She's a medium. She's just very open consciously. She's very loving, very what would you say? Very connected to source. I think, you know, some people can there's just a knowing there. They don't have that in and out of fear. You know, I'm still jumping in and out. Is it real? Is it not real? You know, I want to be that person that I feel really connected to source or to love, conditional love, whatever, my power, whatever that is. And going down there, I met some girls that were doing Reiki and I was like, oh, you know, I was like, oh, and then I did the Reiki and I was like, now since then I've heard about pranic healing, which is probably what I should have done because it's called pranic, and prana is the energy, the yogis. It's all different names for the same thing though, like Reiki, prana, it's all energy. And so, so when I did the Reiki and then I found the Rahani healing, the angel healing, and all of these things just kind of fell into my life, you know, like once you open up and you just start to follow the path of your heart, I just get a nudge going, that person's the person, that, you know, that's the person you have to train with. And sometimes it's not, I feel like, why did I do that? You know, it's maybe doesn't feel, to my ego, it doesn't feel like this is perfect, but I also know that life isn't perfect and you know, everything isn't going to be rosy, you know what I mean? Like you still have to follow the path. I'm not saying, I suppose what I'm trying to say is every time you make a decision in life, it's not going to, sometimes it turns into a challenge. You think, why should I do that? But you know, that's okay. And you know, I don't know.
If a person was going for Reiki and they didn't know what to expect and they were going for their first time, what can you describe what that would be like for them? What would the process be?
Yeah, so so I do Rahani or Reiki. So Rahani is energy from the angels. Reiki is spiritual energy. So it's all, to me, unconditional love, right? So what I'm thinking is we're all made of energy, and this is what I explain to people, that if we have the intention to connect with this higher power of energy, then we can be the channel and let it, our intentions are really powerful. It's the same with sound healing. If you have we're more powerful than we realize. So have the intention that I want the highest good for this person. So if this person is coming in, they come in, have a little chat. I have a little form where you fill out and, you know, have a little, like 5 minutes discussion about what's going on with them. Do you know, like why they're there? Like sometimes people are just there, they're stressed. Some people, you know, there's all different reasons. But all I'm saying to them is that we're just balancing out your energy systems, because your body is made, your nervous system, on the scientific level, your nervous system is made of energy. And if your nervous system is out of whack, then that's going to cause you stress on the system, and the whole system is going to end up sick. So when someone comes for Reiki, I have a little chat to them. Sometimes I do a little meditation with them. If they're like, I've had people that are really upset, you know, so I'd do a little meditation, get them to put hands on their heart before I ask them to lie on the bed. Because if they're uncomfortable and stressed, you're not going to say, oh, hop up there, you know. So you deal with whatever's in front of you. And then when they're up in the bed, it's a matter of, it can be hands touching the body or hands not touching the body. Most people are okay with hands touching the body. And I'm real Irish, so I only just touch the very edges of the body, like the top of the head. I hover through the middle of the body and I touch the knees and the feet. So my intuition guides me to wherever I feel I should place my hands. And when I place my hands, I just breathe and ask for the highest healing for that person. And then I let the energy flow through me. And hence we're all one, so I know that it's flowing through them too. And it's balancing it. I suppose on a normal common sense basis, the person is relaxing the nervous system by someone else touching them. I mean, that's all, you know, you don't even have to think about spirit or anything like that. Human beings need to be touched, and it's nice. So even if someone doesn't understand the energy or doesn't have any interest in that, that's fine. They're still getting the benefit of someone loving them for an hour, you know. So yeah.
And do you speak about inner peace and finding inner peace? How can a person find that?
Well, isn't that the
a big
question? Yeah.
Can we all find inner peace?
Let's go and ask Jesus. I don't know. Yeah. Well, you know, but I don't think that. Like, when I think we're spirit beings and we're earth beings, and as an earth being, we have a body and we have a mind, you know, we're using them. They're going to be difficult. It's not always going to be peaceful, but I do think that you can raise your inner level of happiness by doing practices such as meditation, such as that little breath work I told you. If you do it like 3 or 4 minutes a day, like, that's what I've found. My energy, I wasn't happy about this, like, you know, I am today, but like 5 years ago, I was still working in the library. It's like baby steps, you know, like, it's every day. That's what I was saying about raising this Kundalini. It's a baby step every day. And even if you don't notice it in yourself, maybe other people will notice if you do the practice of meditation, yoga. But like, from that, they're my practices. So I'm not saying my kids run, that's their thing, the gym, all these. I think it's all little things together, isn't it? It's not just one quick fix. There's so many little things together. So gratitude is another one. But to me, it's not like stating I am happy, like listing off a list of things. That's not gratitude for me. Gratitude for me is breathing and feeling the breath and saying, thank you for that breath, and feeling. It's a feeling of gratitude. That's what shakes up the body and brings in the feeling of gratitude. So it's not the words. And you can start by writing, just aimlessly writing. But I've done that and it doesn't work for me. Like, what works for me is putting my hands on my chest and thanking myself for my breath, thanking myself for my feet. You know what I mean? Like, I love Louise Hay. You know, everyone's heard of Louise Hay. Well, she's like she died in the 90s, or
Yeah.
But she was amazing. Like, she like talked about gratitude, and like, for me, simple practices like when you wake up in the morning, look at the mirror and say, I approve of you. I love you, Enda. Simple. I only started that the last 2 years, but like, when I get down and my mind starts racing, I just go, I approve you, Enda. I love you, Enda. I approve you. And I go over and over and over, because I didn't get that as a kid. I mean, and I'm sure most of us didn't, because Ireland wasn't like that. You didn't go around saying to your child every day, you know what I mean? Like, maybe you were very lucky and you had that parent, but most people wouldn't have the parent going, I love you every day, you know? So
I'm curious to know,
parenting
Enda,
myself.
how your friends and family have reacted to this new version of you that's emerged over the last 5 years. You've got 3 adult children and a husband.
Do you know what? I think it's just, it's not really a new version. It's just a better version of me, for me. You know what I mean? Because like, I still, like, it just makes me laugh when you say that, because when I'm with them, like, I'm exactly, I suppose, I'm their mother, you know, and I'm still. And it makes me laugh because, like, we went skiing there the week before last, and I said to them all, I'm not skiing, I'm not smoking, I'm not drinking. What did I do? I did all 3. And I was like, I actually probably have the cold because I was just going back to my old ways, which really doesn't suit my body anymore.
Yeah.
Do you know? But at the same time, I'm not shutting down fun. Like, you know, you have to have fun. That's part of life, isn't it? You can't just. So I suppose for me, And when I say I didn't want to do all those 3 things, it's because I feel so much better because they've slipped away. I haven't forced them away. They've slipped away, and I still love to have a drink. Now, not the smokes because they're just bad for you. But like you know what I mean? I still love, but just not the way I used to. I used to use it as medicine. Like when I was bringing the kids up, like I'll admit I always say I dragged them up, but they're all great. They're all doing fine. Thank God. They're all
I think a lot of mums can relate to that. Yeah.
And they can all go find themselves in a few years. But yeah, so I just think that it's just a happier version of me because, as I say, the inner baseline of happiness has just come up. And I'm not afraid to speak my mind the way I used to be, I've kind of like decided just through all the stuff that most of the stuff in your head is just a thought. And if you could just say it's just a thought, that's easy to say when you open the bank balance and you go, it's just a thought. Your body's freaking out. So I'm still learning to deal with that. So let's pray for abundance for all of us. Do you know what I mean? So
if anybody is listening to the podcast and they'd like to get in touch with you, how can they do that?
I have a website that I made myself, and it's Eternal Flame Holistic Therapies. And my husband laughs because he said the longest name of a website. So I'll say it again, Eternal Flame Holistic Therapies. And I do a lot of work here in Four Swans, this beautiful place. And thank you too for setting it up. It's so amazing. So you can find me on the Four Swans website or my own website, Eternal Flame Holistic Therapies. I'll say it again. And I love people texting me because I am supposed to be a businesswoman, but I really haven't got that down yet. So just text me on WhatsApp, Mm-hmm. And sure, you're welcome to put my phone number underneath.
Great. And same question that we're asking to everybody who's coming on the podcast, and you've already kind of touched on it already, but how do you mind yourself?
Well, before I came here, I walked the dog, simple things. But like what I said, yeah, I think it's just every day it's different. But I do look for the joy in life now. Do you know what I mean? Like I just know that, the joy isn't in the future. It's right here, right now, And so yeah, I just try and follow my breath, become present. All very easy until something goes wrong. But I try. I never mentioned much about the sound healing, but like I have Tibetan bowls and gong and stuff like that. And for me, they bring me to the present moment as well. So, or a little drum. Like, I know it sounds mad. I cannot, I always say I'm terrible. I can't sing, but I chant. And I can't play music, but I do sound healing. So it's not, none of them are mind things. They're about a physical way of bringing my body to peace. And so, yeah. So, like, yeah, even if you can't walk, you can still bang a drum. And she can breathe if you can do nothing else.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you,
Thanks
Enda.
very much. Thanks for having me. I'm very grateful to come on. Thank you.
Thank you. That is it for today's episode of Mind Yourself. If something in this conversation has resonated with you, share it with someone who might need to hear it, because these are the conversations that matter. Don't forget to follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you're enjoying the podcast, a quick rating or review really helps us to reach more people. So until next time, mind yourself.